friends, how are you? Today is Thursday, June 4th, 2026. Yesterday, I introduced religion as far as the perspectives in regard to sex and marriage. And I talked about how in Christianity, because that's my base, that's my foundation, I am a Christian. In church, you hear a lot of how sex is a sin, especially before marriage, and how you should not lust, how you should not have these kinds of desires and things of that nature. But they don't really talk about the beauty of sex within marriage. So that way, when they plant that seed of it's wrong, you shouldn't do it, you shouldn't want it, it's hard for some people to get out of that mindset once they are married. And I believe that there should be a balance. You should hold firm to what God says about sex being a sin if you are not married, and controlling those, your desires and being disciplined, but also making sure people understand the beauty of it and how God intended for it to be experienced. And so, and then also, there are scriptures that people have used to weaponize sex in a sense, as far as, I think it's in 1 Corinthians 7, I believe. It talks about how, the wife should not deny the husband, and in some translations it says conjugal rights, and how the husband should not deny the wife, and that the wife's body is not hers and the husband's body is not his, and things of that nature. And so there are times where it gets said, girl, you can't deny that man sex, that's his body. And it makes sex an obligation. It can make sex a chore. So something else that just has to be crossed off the list of things that the wife has to do. And, and I'm not sure if men have said it. The men that I have talked to, I haven't heard them say it, but I'm pretty sure it has been used even by men. You not giving me sex and you supposed to. That's part of your wifely duties. And while that is in the Bible, you don't use it that way to make someone feel guilty or shame for whatever they're feeling, but it does get used that way. And we have to make sure that we start changing the dialect around the scripture so that way it is not weaponized, but it is used the way God intended, because there's a difference between interpretation and revelation. You can interpret a thing however you want to, but when God reveals it, it's going to be the same across the board, from me to you to her to him. Okay? Difference between interpretation and revelation. All right? I hope you all have an amazingly wonderful day on purpose. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.